Hi there, it's me. I found out something pretty interesting yesterday. So I've been talking about my recent comic a lot lately, and I started posting it on Webtoons, both of my recent comics. And yesterday I found a notice on Webtoons that they were having a contest, and they haven't had a contest apparently in 3 years. I vaguely remember being on Tapaz and helping, I think it was Natasha, with this kind of futuristic theme, I guess, with robots and such. And she kind of asked us to, vote for a comic and support her so she could get past how many. That's beside the point. I'm not sure if that was 3 years ago, but it doesn't feel like 3 years ago. Apparently they haven't done a contest in 3 years, so who knows when they're next going to be doing a contest. We'll never know. Also, I have no idea where they get the money from for this kind of stuff. I haven't really seen any adverts around, unless I'm completely missing them. So this is a regular comic contest, I guess, and you have a money prize. You submit your comic, you meet the minimum requirements, and you hope you get past round 1. And there will be 8 people who will be getting past round 1. It gets lower and lower until you get to the final winner that will win a grand total of $8,000. Great, so yeah, you get money, you get to go to see the Webtoons Green Room in New York. So that's that. If you don't know what a featured creator is, this has a little bit of information on it. Featured creators are paid by Webtoons to publish exclusively with them on a regular basis, and also it depends greatly on the amount of subscribers you have too. I only just recently started posting on Webtoons, and I think I have about 40-ish, 50-ish maybe subscribers for both the comics I posted. One thing I'm not too fond about with Webtoons is the creator audience interaction. It's really feels like it's almost non-existent, and you have to seek it out. I don't really get notified when I get comments, and I don't think the people who have subscribed to my comics get notified when I post a new comic. I don't know, I don't really think that my comics share subscribers at all. So unlike Tapastic, which I've been posting on for 4 years now, it's kind of hard to build up momentum, I guess, from what I've experienced for posting on here for well over a month now. Might just be my comics. My comics might just be a bit too simple for Webtoons. So back to this. My immediate thought was, this is a great opportunity. I could probably, maybe in a miracle or in a dream or something, get to the final 8 and then get $5,000, and then, I don't know, I could use it to help my art in some way. I don't really think it's probable that I'll get anywhere past that, judging by the quality of comics I've seen on Webtoons. So kind of with that mindset, I have to ask myself, is it really worth even attempting? Is it really worth even attempting to get anywhere in this competition? And I keep getting to the conclusion that it's not really worth it in the end. I want to look at this judgment criteria thing, what I said about not feeling as if it's really easy to engage with the audience and not really having the audience crossover between your comics like there is on Tapastic. If there is, I'm sorry, but it really doesn't feel like it to me. Every time you start a new comic, you kind of start from scratch. I guess unless your audience seeks your comics out, I'm not really sure. So if you never really get that audience for this comic that you submit to the competition, where does that really put you? For me, I've only recently started posting on Webtoons, so it's not like I'm known at all. I don't think I will be known anytime soon. I mean, the submissions start June 11th, which is probably 2 weeks away from now. Okay, anyone who's kind of new to Webtoons and doesn't really know their way around, for sure, who enters this competition probably isn't really going to get much scores for the level of audience engagement. And you might think, oh, maybe there's a way around it. Maybe Webtoons already know this and they're going to be really lenient with the audience engagement thing. Well, yeah, of course they kind of have to be, which is why it's only 40% of the judgment criteria. When you look at the frequently asked questions, and you get to number 10, how do you measure the level of audience engagement? The level of audience engagement will be normalised and indexed so 3-week-old series can be compared to 3-month-old series as equally as possible. Numbers don't really matter that much, but in a sense they will, regardless. If people get kind of a similar amount of engagement, then it's gonna come down to numbers at the end of the day. And Webtoons has been around since probably 2004. I haven't double checked that, so please do if you want to. So this is a really huge community, and it really does feel like it as well. With Tapaz, formerly known as Pastic, see, I have 212 subscribers on this comic, and if I go to my dashboard and see the stats for it, my comments on it are not that great. 26 comments since I started uploading. Let me change to daily. The most comments I've got in a day is 9, and I upload every other day. So you can kind of see here, each page, that's the kind of engagement I get. And also take note that half of these comments are me responding. So I'll get 1 comment on the cover, 3 comments on the first update, maybe 2 comments on the other one, and so on and so on. If we go to Webtoons now, where you look at my dashboard, look at the stats for this. Actually, yeah, another thing I'm not too fond about with Webtoons, it's really hard to find the comments until you go into the series. It doesn't even say around here how many comments you have. Say, let's go to page 6, for example. 6 comments on here, which is comparable to Paz. This one, 3 comments. It's pretty much the same amount of comments, but just wait, 7 comments. And when you go to the series, 50 subscribers, I believe that's the subscribers, 50 subscribers, and you get the same amount of comments on Webtoons that you do with 212 subscribers. So that just tells you how much passion people have for Webtoons on Webtoons in comparison to Tapastic. So people will subscribe to you on Tapastic, but they won't really comment. Also, another thing about Tapastic, it's really hard to get much attention unless you're on the front page. And I've been really lucky. I've been able to get on the front page twice with Sunny and Long Distance Friends. And also years ago with my first comic, but we won't talk about that. Webtoons, I have no idea in the slightest how people find my comic. I can't find it anywhere on the front page. I can only search for it. That's the only way I figured out, as of now, how to find my comic. So I don't know how people are finding it, but people are finding it. And in a sense, that's a lot better than Dupastic. So this isn't really about comparing Webtoons and Dupastic. This is just me explaining how difficult it can be to get any attention as a comic creator, especially as a comic creator as small as I. So why is this a problem? With the amount of people that are probably going to submit to this competition, if you're too small, you will get buried under the people who are big enough to get that audience engagement, regardless of how they judge audience engagement. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, because it does come down to audience engagement at the end of the day. If everyone, well, not everyone, the chances that say 5,000 people submit to this, the chances of them reading every single one of those submissions, and take note how much they want from you. They want a minimum of 5 episodes, say on average, minimum of 5 episodes with 40 panels per episode. Can you do that in a couple of months? So you have June, July, August, September. You've got about 4 months to make a really great story, get enough subscribers, all that stuff. And you have to publish exclusively with Webtoon till the contest is over. Another thing about this, they're very specific about what kind of format they want you to do. They want you to do mobile optimized format, which is, if I can give you an example of what it's not, it's definitely not this, which is what I'm used to doing. I don't understand this whole craze, obsession with reading on mobile. I always read comics on my computer, so I can't really relate to that, so I never really felt the need to change. But Webtoons and Paz as well, they've really pushed for this mobile format. I'm trying to see now. Let's just click on Snellord's comic. This is mobile format. You have one panel in the rows. So say if this was a row, left to right was a row, and then column is up and down, and also this is a bit on the short side. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 6 panels. You're supposed to do 40 for the competition. I don't know if the average Joe can live up to those standards. I don't think I can live up to those standards. I think personally, I probably could get something done, but in the time that they are giving, with the amount of visibility I have, with my skill level and speed at drawing, I do honestly think it's a waste of my time to even attempt to do this. And I know some people will probably be like, oh, you never know until you try. But if you ask yourself, if you're considering entering this competition, just ask yourself, why do you want to do this? And for me, it's literally, oh, the extra help would be nice. The extra money would be nice. I don't really need to enter the competition. It's not going to save my life. If anything, it's just going to cause a bit more stress than I usually have. And I'm not really going to get far in it. If you've read many comics on Webtoons, they're really great. And the type of comics that get the most attention is not the type of comics I write. I like doing metaphorical stuff. I like taking the stories I wrote in my childhood and completely revamping them so they're interesting enough to post online, which is what Yellow Feathers is. So for me, the extra help would be nice is not really a good enough reason, even though probably everyone who is going to be applying for this competition is probably going to believe the same thing. Also, this kind of belief that you need help to make it somewhere, and to be honest with you, that's pretty true for the most part. But there are other ways to get to places. You don't really need the help of a massive company like Webtoons, even though it would be nice. I wouldn't stress about this competition. I wouldn't worry about when the next one might be. I'd just look at yourself, look at your capabilities, and enter or not based on whether you think it's worth spending your time on it. You might be able to relate to me, as in you're not really a large creator, or you don't really know how Webtoons works completely, so you're not sure if you want to step into this realm or not. Yeah, you might be missing out on an opportunity, but when you think about numbers and probabilities, you are probably better off just doing your best to build that, that community that you wanted to support your work. And you know what? Whatever happens, at least you're not forced to post exclusively on Webtoons. At least that's not something that's forced on you. Unless you want to be a featured creator, I guess there's an element of force, but it's consensual, so it's all good. I personally don't think I'd want to enter that realm. It's kind of obvious why someone might not want to be a featured creator. I'd never become a featured creator because I've been posting on Tapastic since 2014, and I feel like I owe people that have supported me all that time more than just to kind of say, hey, I won't post anymore unless you read it on Webtoons. I think that's a lot to ask of people. This doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, obviously if you don't want the money, what are you doing? So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. If you do choose to enter this competition, I wish you the best of luck. If you do have a comic that you're entering into the competition, leave it down in the comments. I'll check it out if I have enough time to do it. Why? Why not? Why not? It's not like, I don't have any time to read comics. It's not like I'm super bogged down with notifications from my billions of subscribers. No, it's fine. If you have a comic that you're going to submit to this competition, let me know. Or if you want to enter the competition, let me know. It'll be an interesting conversation. Maybe you think everything I said was wrong, and maybe you think I'm being really pessimistic about it. It's an interesting conversation to have. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I bid you farewell.